Ani Bojo Tanse, Mishin Dengwe, Anquatque Indigenous, Fishing Lake and Donjiba, Anishinaabe Aki and Donji, Makwado Dam. So hello everybody, my name is Gabrielle Fayant. My family comes from Fishing Lake Métis settlement in Alberta. I currently live here on unceded, unsurrendered Algonquin territory, which is also known as Ottawa, Ontario, the nation's capital, and I am Bear Clan. I'm a Métis woman. I'm also a drummer and a singer, and I'm the co-founder of a youth-led, youth-driven Indigenous organization called Assembly of Seven Generations, also known as A7G, and I also manage a lot of our programs. So I was here in Ottawa during the closing ceremonies of the TRC, and I was at the Delta Hotel when these calls to action were being read out loud. I remember the ballroom of the Delta being full of prominent leaders, survivors, politicians. Probably over 500 people were in that ballroom. People were sitting on the floor. Just a lot of people wanted to be there to listen to these words being read for the first time. And even outside in the Delta lobby, there was people wall to wall. So there's actually 3 floors in the Delta lobby, and they were full of people. There was a big screen with the reader of this report, and we were all listening very intently to these calls to action being read. And I remember this call to action specifically. It gave me chills the first time I heard it. And what I've always been told is when you hear something that's very truthful and honest, or we also say tapwe, which means truthful, we get those chills. So that's what happened to me, and I believe that it's because this is truth and it needs to happen. So number 46, this is how it goes. We call upon the parties to the Indian Residential School Settlement Agreement to develop and sign a covenant of reconciliation that would identify principles for working collaboratively to advance reconciliation in Canadian society, and that would include, but not be limited to, 1. Reaffirmation of the parties' commitment to reconciliation. 2. Repudiation of concepts used to justify European sovereignty over Indigenous lands and peoples, such as the Doctrine of Discovery and terra nullius. And the reformation of laws, governance structures, and policies within their respective institutions that continue to rely on such concepts. 3. Full adaptation and implementation of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples as the framework for reconciliation. 4. Support for the renewal or re-establishment of treaty relationships based on principles of mutual recognition, mutual respect, and shared responsibility for maintaining those relationships in the future. 5. Enabling those excluded from the settlement agreement to sign on to the Covenant of Reconciliation. And 6. Enabling additional parties to sign on to the Covenant of Reconciliation. So for me, being the descendant of residential school victims and survivors, number 5 is really important, because not only do I come from that legacy of pain and hurt, but being Métis, our stories were never really told. So those Métis stories of children that went to residential schools or day schools or were taken away from their families, they were never really told to the proper extent that they need to be told. And so therefore, it is my commitment that I continue to acknowledge this, that I continue to let people know that there's still healing for Métis people that needs to start. we need to start by sharing those stories. There's a lot of pain and trauma that is still deeply rooted within many of our people, and in order to get that out and in order to heal, our stories need to be told. So I hope that one day those stories will be told, and I look forward to a future where our next generations can be healthy and live in loving families and environments. So miigwech, hi, thanks for listening. I know that was a long one, but these are all really important calls to action.